All right, cutting across this issue of whether we take the world to be naturalistic or supernaturalistic fundamentally is another kind of question metaphysically. Is the world such that we take it to be a world of cause and effect? That is to say, that whatever happens in the world, there is an in principle understandable cause behind it. So that there are cause and effect laws or cause and effect principles or laws of nature or laws of religion that are operative, and if we come to understand those laws or those principles, then we can then in principle come to understand why everything that happens in the world happens, right? Everything happens not necessarily for a reason is a mentalistic, right, kind of cause, but there is for any effect a cause that in principle is intelligible that we, through our reason, can figure out if we come to have the right kind of understanding of the way the world works. That then means that in the future, to the extent that we understand the causal laws, we can make reasonable predictions about how things are going to play out and plan our lives accordingly, if that is true. Now, by contrast, we could also make the argument or come to the belief that in fact the world is not something that operates according to causal principles. Instead, there's a certain chaos, right, that fundamentally permeates reality. There can be naturalistic versions of the chaos arguing that ultimately the world is indeterministic or subject to randomness, and that our best understandings are always going to be inadequate because of this built-in randomness in the world. Or the chaos can also be in religious and supernaturalistic form if we believe that God is will and God changes his mind, or that the ordinary processes of reality that might appear to be causal can suddenly be interjected or interrupted rather by a miracle being interjected into the process. And so in principle there is no way to understand why things happen. They do, those reasons are known by God alone, and then correspondingly no way we can predict the future because miracles and various chaotic interjections are possible. So is it the case that supernaturalistically there's a cause for everything that occurs, or naturalistically there's a cause for everything that occurs, or is the world fundamentally a chaotic enterprise for naturalistic or supernaturalistic reasons? Now this has educational implications to the extent that we want to urge or not urge students to be able to come to comprehend the world in universalistic terms, to always push for an explanation, always to have the explanation that they can plan out the future of their lives and maybe take charge of their ultimate destinies. All of that is based on a presupposition that fundamentally the universe is causal. To the extent that we don't think the universe is causal, we're not going to make those very important educational goals. Instead, we're going to see our lives and the students' lives ultimately as being ruled by chaos and unpredictability, and so the best we will do is then prepare the student for a fundamentally chaotic and unpredictable kind of life. All right, cutting across these issues as well, one more I want to put on the board here, one other kind of metaphysical issue. When we think about the world as a whole, do we think of the world as a place that is hospitable to our needs, our interests, our aspirations for the world? And this position is called the benevolent universe premise. Is it the case that we can see the world such that if human beings do, right, develop themselves, their capacities and so forth, they can go forth and find success, right, in their chosen realms of life? Or is it the case that by contrast, the world and the forces that govern the world are hostile or inhospitable to human aspirations, and so students should then be taught a more defensive posture, right, with respect to the world?